A trend I've noticed within our spray foam industry is contractors don't fail because they don't have a sales process. They fail because they fail at being consistent with the right skill sets within their sales process. Because we've all seen it. Somebody goes to a sales seminar, they learn, they see somebody else having success by having a sales process, cold calling, generating leads. So, of course, they go home, they try to structure a sales process because that's what they just learned, right? But most spray foam contractors don't have a background in sales. Most spray foam contractors came from a background in spraying foam and installing fiberglass. So they're kind of put in this position where they have to do sales because they have to do sales, not because that's what they learned and that's what they were meant to do. So what are the right skill sets within your sales process, right? And what are the wrong skill sets within the wrong sales process? And we're going to dive into the wrong sales process first. And a lot of people say, oh, sales doesn't work. I tried cold calling, didn't really give me results. It doesn't work. And the thing is, of course it doesn't work. You were doing it wrong. And sales goes back all to the same thing. It all goes back to your identity and what you think about yourself, right? Because if you know you're the best spray foam contractor in your state, I'm the best spray foam contractor in Tennessee, guaranteed. I'm the best spray foam salesperson in Tennessee, guaranteed. When you get that energy and you start interacting with builders, interacting with potential clients, that's the energy that closes deals. Because we've all seen that says sales is a transfer of energy, right? For a builder to give you a $30,000 project, they have to trust you. They're not just going to get some random guy that is half established, semi-established, doesn't know what they're talking about, is nervous, is timid, is scared. They're not going to trust that guy. So it's your goal as the salesperson for your company to transfer that energy that, yes, you can trust me. Not with your words, but based off of your energy, based on your mode, based on your tonality, based on you and how you believe in yourself and you believe in your sales process. Because when you're doing the wrong sales activities, it puts you in a circle where it's a toxic circle where you don't know how to do sales, but you try cold calling, you try generating leads, you don't get results, which impacts your confidence in yourself, impacts your mood. So you go out into the next conversation, you don't get results, you start doubting yourself even more, and you're stuck in this loop that, oh, sales just doesn't work, sales is not for me. And it's not that sales isn't for you, it's that you haven't taken the time, the energy, you haven't allocated the resources to becoming better at sales, because sales is a communication game, and a lot of spray foam contractors aren't practicing their communication. They're not recording videos of themselves telling stories. They're not recording themselves videos and listening to how they speak. They're not recording their cold calls and listening to their cold calls. They're doing it very, I hate to say it, but they're doing it very half-assedly, right? You see a sign of a builder, you're like, oh shit, let me just call them. And then you call. Instead of, okay, there's a builder of a sign. Okay, let me Google them. Let me research them. Okay, who's the owner? Who's the project manager? Okay, cool. Can I find some social media? Oh, look, I found the guy's Facebook. I found the guy's LinkedIn. Okay, oh, bro went to this school. Bro's been building for this amount of time. Oh, dang, this guy's actually pretty cool. Cool. Now you have enough information to go and create a personable approach, because we've learned what closes interactions is when you create a personable approach that gets them to like you, that gets them to trust you. So, and it all goes back to the identity. How confident are you that you are the best in your market and that nobody is better than you? Because if you don't have that, everything is working against you. And a lot of people try to mask their sales problems by hiring a salesperson. And it's just like how do you expect to lead? You're the business owner. How do you expect to lead the salesperson if you don't know how to generate millions of dollars of revenue? How are you going to teach them how to generate millions? How are you going to give them feedback? What are you going to do when they ask for advice? What are you going to do when they ask you, hey boss, people aren't hitting me back. What am I doing wrong? If you're not that guy that's generated millions of dollars, that's gone through the entire sales process, that's optimized your sales process, you're not going to be able to answer those questions. And when that salesperson realizes that you as his leader don't know what you're talking about, you're going to inspire doubt into him, and he's going to go somewhere else. And if he stays within the spray foam industry, he could do a lot of damage to your business. He can take his book of business and if you gave him access, he might be able to take your book of business. So hiring a salesperson can be a really good thing. It could also be a really bad thing. So now we're here. Okay, how do I generate more sales, right? Tell me, how do you feel when your workers pull up and you have no projects for them to go look at? You have no projects for them to go work. How do you feel? That because you don't know how to do sales, because you're not that sales leader, they're not able to work. Now you're impacting your income, you're impacting their income, you're impacting everybody. So as a sales leader, we need to acknowledge that it's not my workers' fault that we don't have work. It's my fault as the business owner that I don't know how to go out and generate revenue and generate projects that feed my family, that feed their family. And when you take that accountability and you realize that it's totally up to you what you do, and success is determined based off of your actions and what you're doing on your day-to-day, and of course doing the right things, because you can't just do sales without knowing how to do sales. Yes, you might figure it out after 6 months, after a year, after 2 years, but we've all seen it, and Alex Hormozi talks about it. All your problems are solved with two different things: your time and energy, or with resources and money. And most spray foam contractors, they've never thought about hiring somebody to help them communicate better, hiring somebody to help them, hey, I need you to help me believe that I'm the best guy in my market. I need you to help me make sure my cold calls are the best cold calls. I need to make sure I have the most efficient way on generating leads. I need to know how to do X, Y, Z. And when you have somebody that's done it, when you have somebody that's generated millions of dollars in your industry, and they tell you, hey, this is what you're doing wrong, 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 this is how we're going to fix this is how we're going to fix that, and this is how we're going to fix this. Okay, now let's practice. Let's do some role playing. Boom, boom, boom. You practice, you optimize. Okay, cool. Next time, they're a bit better. Next time, they're a bit better. You fast forward 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whole different person. Now the person is generating revenue. Now the person just got a $30,000 project with this builder, got a $20,000 project with that builder, got a $35,000 with that builder, and it's all going on within the same month. So now you're generating $100,000 a month because you took the accountability and you realize that if you're not generating revenue, it's because of your actions, because of your skill sets. And I mean, it's not a horrible problem to have, because it's something that can be fixed, something that can be adjusted. And of course, the longer we do sales, the better we get, the better we get, the better we get. A year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, now you're that guy that generates millions. You have a salesperson that's following your steps. You have another salesperson that's training another salesperson, and they're all following your steps because you're that sales leader that is able to teach them, this is how you generate millions and millions of dollars within an industry. This is how you generate the leads. This is how you cold call. This is how you interact with them, because the sales process, it's a very psychological sales process. And if you haven't taken the time to learn about the subconscious mind, to learn about psychology, to learn about human responses, body language, these are things that hugely impact your sales operation. Huge. Because I'm sure we've all seen it. It's not about what you say, how you say, because you can say the same sentence and you change your tonality and it means two different things. You use pissed off tonality here. Oh shit, you say the exact same thing, but you say it jokingly, laughingly. Very different meanings. So you have to learn how to master your tonality, how to master your scripts, how to master your lead generation efforts, and of course, always finding new ways, especially with the tools that we have available right now. There's no excuse on why we're not able to generate millions of dollars, because we have every single builder's online. There's a lot of perma data available online. So if you're not able to generate leads, it's because you don't know how to generate leads, because there's unlimited leads out here. Unlimited leads. Literally, you give me my laptop and I go to your city, I guarantee you I'll find 100 builders immediately within like 20 minutes in your city. And guess what? We implement our AI investigation bot into finding out who are the decision makers within every organization. Now you have a list of everybody that's building and everybody within every single company. So now when you're doing the cold calling and the outreach, bro, you're doing 5x what everybody else is doing. Why? Because nobody else is dedicating time to learning. Nobody else is learning the newest skills, the newest technology. Nobody's learning how to become better. Nobody's learning how to become that guy that is the best at spray foam, that is the best at selling spray foam projects. And when you do become that guy, and when you do learn the skills, dude, we'll run circles around anybody in our market. You put me in Atlanta, you put me in Tampa, you put me in Miami, you put me in Los Angeles, you put me in Las Vegas, bro, we're gonna generate millions. Why? Because we've already seen exactly what we need to do to generate millions within our custom home market. Guess what? The custom home market is popping over here, it's popping over there. There's $1 million spray foam companies in Nashville, Georgia, Tampa, Miami, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Austin, Texas, San Antonio, there's $1 million spray foam companies everywhere. Everywhere. And if somebody's generating $1 million in their market, guess what you can do as a competitor? If they can make $1 million in your market, you can also make $1 million, and you could probably do more, because these people have been doing it the traditional route. They learned how to do sales 5 years ago, which is very different on how you do sales right now. And how you do sales right now will 5x the efficiency of anybody else, especially when you implement AI filtering processes into your lead generation efforts, when you implement AI investigation agents into your sales operation, and then when you know how to reach out, when you know that you're the best cold caller, when you know you're the best at pulling up in person, when you know you're the best at the spray foam itself, dude, there's no way you shouldn't generate $1 million a year. There's no way you shouldn't generate multiple $1 million a year.